Relax and get loose while I put you up on game. The Figure Booth with Josh and Nate. This that podcast folk. Those in the know. Batman vs. Iron Man. How would it go? We talking one of a kind. Collectibles. Mezco toys are respectable. It's unacceptable if it's not in the packaging. Nate don't take pics if you ain't rapping it. Nate's dirty tricks are always happening. But damn it, man, don't you be stressing. Round here we believe in plastic confessions. We trying to figure out the figures that's gonna stand the test of time. That G.I. Joe handmade hit me in the spine. There's perfection in the way that these toys are made. But I also wanna know, do I pick Wade or Slade? So this is where I come to kick it with the guys. The Figure Booth. Like, comment, and subscribe.
Hello and welcome. You have made it to another episode of the Figure Booth, here where we talk about the ups and downs of the modern day collector. We go over our plastic confessions, we cover pre-orders, we do interviews with those in the toy community. I'm your host Josh, aka Prime to the First, and I'm joined by none other, my friend co-host FigureFan_ Nate.
Hello everybody, and thank you for joining. You've reached episode 92, which we're calling Mind, Body, and Figures.
Oh, figures.
Yeah, you got the right idea though.
Mind. Let me get that.
Yeah, and then Prime
figures?
Can show off his flex, and then it's all about the figures. It's kind of like a circle, right?
Yeah.
And
Full
as
circle.
we're talking about going into 2024, what's some of our resolutions? We thought we could use this episode as a reminder of not only is it good to have a healthy toy collection, but you also got to make sure that you're paying attention to having a healthy mind and a healthy body, like Prime was showing, because it's all important. If you prioritize one thing, you're kind of giving up other things, and it goes to other stuff too, not just mind and body and figures, but other hobbies you might have, or just remembering there's other things out there other than the toy game. So we want to talk about that as an episode, get you guys' thoughts on it, what we think, maybe some tips and tricks. And then, in the comments, let us know what your routines are. Is it something you're trying to focus on more, maybe getting more in shape, or you've been going through some mental shit and you're like, you know what, I got to prioritize getting this right. Or are you trying to prioritize your figures? What's like your focus for 2024? Because everybody's dealing with different stuff.
Yeah. And and it's a one. This is our first episode of 2024, so it's a good restart to us trying to deliver more content, whether it's the frequency or the type of content we're bringing to you guys. But this year, I think both of us, we really want to challenge ourselves to kind of just step it up a little bit more. And sometimes that means like sacrificing time that we would dedicate to the hobby. But in a sense, this is a part of that hobby. So I think that you can take that and apply it to that, where it's like, even though it is related to toy community, it's not necessarily us going out hunting and buying more figs, but instead we're focusing on the podcast and maybe doing some figure reviews, or maybe coming up with new ideas about, like we started that figure tour for the Figure Booth, and we'll talk a little bit about that and how that's gonna unravel and what are the requirements and the details, and hopefully it's a successful one. But then things like that to engage the toy community and bring something a little different to the table, goes back to always keeping that mind, kind of sharpening the axe. It's this way. I think a lot of times just looking at your collection, and we've talked about it from time to time, just revisiting your collection and just reevaluating it and seeing, is it going in the right direction? Do I need to trim some fat? Do I need to go less as hard on a line, or pick up a new line? Or maybe I've been wanting to pick up. I know there's always a lot of things you can do, but the only way we can do that is if we take a step back, pause, and then reflect on what have we acquired so far. Lately, I've been trying to unload a lot of figures. So, we can dive into some of those tips and activities that have been beneficial to us. We always love to hear your guys' feedback on that too.
Yeah, for sure. It's kind of like it's basically like keeping not only your collection, but yourself like in shape, or having some kind of routine of how you're going to keep yourself in shape. And you can really apply routines to anything. And that's kind of how you create habits, right? It's like you create a consistent routine where you do the same thing on the same day of the week or the same time of day or something, whatever it is, you create this routine. And if you do it enough, it becomes a habit.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to say is like, maybe if you are struggling with things, add in some extra routines that might help deal with those issues. So we found this kind of interesting way of not only including some workout routines, but maybe some figure routines, and then also some mind routines as well. So one of the things I was thinking about, as you're talking about working out, cardio comes to mind as a big thing of, hey, you got to keep at least some type of cardio, like get that blood pumping, get the heart pumping,
the heart racing,
whether it's walking, jogging, going out and playing a basketball game, playing some soccer, whatever it is. You can do that with treadmills as well.
Yeah.
And our creative idea is that you set up your treadmill next to the collection.
Yeah.
And you can keep your figs in front as kind of like your goal. Like, I'm going to march towards these figures.
Yeah.
In addition, your toys are also on a treadmill. So like if you've got
literally putting them on the treadmill, so you have to run over them.
Yeah, like a miniature.
You've seen those
treadmills.
You've seen those races, right? Oh, miniature. I thought you meant like putting Hot Wheels on a treadmill and just running with them.
Yeah, right. That would be cool too. You can just make a figure one or something. Maybe put some skates on them, or we'll just do miniature treadmills. Whatever your fancy is. But the idea is really like, from what I've heard from a lot of people is when you put a collection or display together, it doesn't always get refreshed. I'm a victim of that. You've probably seen some of the same figures on the shelf beside me for quite a long time. So part of the treadmill is, okay, now I need to switch up what I have on display.
Yeah, that's a cool idea. It's kind of like a rotation,
Yeah, exactly. Is there something else that I like that I want to display? And if I'm going through my collection and I'm consistently pushing stuff to the side, like, I don't want to display that, I don't really like that. Maybe consider selling it to Prime's point. Maybe consider slimming down the collection. If there's stuff that you don't want to display, then why are you keeping it? Are you keeping it for value reasons? Are you keeping it for personal reasons? Whatever it is. But as long as you have an answer to that, cool, you're good. But if you don't have an answer to why you don't want to display something or why it keeps getting pushed back in the back of your bins,
back in the box,
maybe get rid of it.
Bins, yeah. No, that's a really good point, because even like coming up with top 10 lists, and I think everyone goes through this, you start thinking, okay, what figures did I accumulate this year? And then you start going through these boxes and you're like, oh snap, like I still have figures that I bought maybe in the middle of the year that I still haven't even opened. Like there's still some Mayfix figures that I literally just took out the figure and like threw them up on the shelf, or maybe we showed them off for plastic confession, but I haven't taken their accessories out. I haven't really messed with them. There was a figure where I thought I didn't have, and then I was like, wait, did I buy them? So I had to go through my account history on Omni, and sure enough, I had already purchased. And I was like, if I already have it, it's not on the shelf, I didn't even take it out. Like, I should probably think about selling it. To your point, I should probably sell it, because I went almost half a year without realizing it. I saw this figure on someone else's top 10, and I was like, wait, I think I have that figure. And then sure enough, he was sealed up. I had opened it, but I think I literally just took him out and like looked at him in the tray and then closed the box, and then he's back in the box. And I still have a handful of Storm collectible figures that I haven't even opened. That to me, I'm like, oh, I need to either open them up or sell them, which I don't want to sell them, so I need to make room for them.
Yeah, and when you have a personal connection to them, so at least you've decided, okay, it's not something I'm willing to sell, but I do feel like I need to appreciate it more. Yeah.
Yeah, no, and I think that's like going back to like the whole analogy of trying to stay fit mentally, but then trying to keep that collection healthy too. Like how good of a pulse check am I keeping on my collecting, or is it getting out of control where I'm just throwing figs in boxes and I don't even know what I have? Like, I'd rather have a really nice clean display of all the figures I'm able to keep, and then being okay with, hey, you know what, I've had them for X amount of time, I need to just like unload them to another collector, because there's always a brand new collector stepping into the community looking for that one figure that they're missing. Unloading a bunch of my legends earlier this year, it really helped. It was crazy how so many people I met, but then they would show me their list, like, oh, I'm missing this because I just started collecting last year, or this is my first year. and I was able to give them like, a bunch of what they considered maybe some harder to find figures, only because they just recently started collecting. So that's always fun, being able to hand down or sell off that figure that maybe he's been collecting dust in your box, but maybe one collector that really wants them and probably going to appreciate them a little bit more.
Yeah, that's a good part of it too, is that there's probably stuff that you have that you aren't using that somebody else might want. And there's probably a lot of stuff that you have that you're not using that nobody wants. There's a good mix of both.
Yep, for sure.
So you're never going to sell everything. There's always going to be stuff that you're going to either lose money on or just have to donate or maybe pass down to somebody else because it's just not that valuable. It's not that great. But don't just keep it in your collection because it's not that valuable. Do something with it just to get it out of there.
Yeah.
Just to rotate it, keeping it fresh. It's like, stuff in your fridge. It's not like you're going to keep unused products in the back of your fridge that are all expired. I mean, there's probably some people that do that, but you shouldn't. You should be going through, cleaning that out, getting stuff out. Yeah, it's not fun always. It's not always the funnest thing to do, but it's kind of necessary work that you need to do. So going back to that treadmill, like that's a way you can kind of think about it. Okay, I've had these out for 6 months. Maybe let's think about swapping them out. And if you set up your treadmill around your figures, you're constantly looking around as you're doing your treadmill, like, I need to refresh this collection. And if you work on your cardio, you can beat those other people to the toilet first, right? Yeah. Like, hey, I've worked on my cardio.
And Nate's just like,
they're
like, who's that buff dude that's just sprinted down the aisle? It's Nate.
Exactly. Yeah. You can get to the toilet first. You can visualize your goal. Another idea is action figure yoga. So one thing, kind of on the same idea of rotating your collection in your detolfs or your shelves or whatever it is that you have. A lot of the times I keep my figures in the same poses because I like the pose. It looks good or it's easy to display. So I won't touch it. But that also is like an indication that I haven't really touched my figures or appreciated them. So maybe try posing your figures into different positions or creating a different display with different poses. One person that I've known that is really good at this is Customs by Machu, Matt. If you haven't, caught one of his live streams when he's working on the collection, you really should, because he's like so focused on ensuring they have a unique pose and the setup goes correctly. And I really like that because there's some figures I just don't repose unless I'm going to use them in a shot or something. So you can work on your posing that way by choosing something that might be a little bit more challenging, not just a standing up pose, but put them in some action or something. And you could try those poses yourself,
right?
Exactly.
Because that does help. Everyone makes that common mistake, I think, in the beginning of posing, and we all have done it. The running pose with like same arm, same leg, going on we pose them like that. We've all posed a figure like that, where it's like the same arm and the same leg going back, and the same arm and the same leg going forward. And you're like, yeah, he's running. And then later you start gaining some experience and knowledge, and then you look at that picture like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, you don't run like that. It's always opposite arm, and it's so funny because I was guilty of it too. I remember I posted a picture, and someone's like, hey, here's some, constructive criticism. And I was like, what? I'm like, no, what? And I just could not. And then I started looking, I'm like, oh man, that does look really, really bad. And then, you start doing it yourself. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. It's always opposite. But I think the novice collector and photographer, like they're bound to do those type of errors, I guess, mistakes.
Yeah. Common mistakes.
Mistakes. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that's Prime's idea is great. And I've done it myself when trying to pose. And I've definitely messed up poses in the past, but that's one way that I've learned to try to correct my poses is if you're going to do like a kicking pose or a punching pose or a running pose, to Prime's point, just try the pose yourself as naturally as you can. And then see where your arms are, where your legs are, how everything's sort of positioned. Is your torso turned a bit? Is your hips straight? Are they turned? All that stuff adds up into a good pose. And if you're not paying attention to it, then it's really going to stand out in your images. People are going to notice like, oh, that looks weird. Or to Prime's point, if the leg and the arm aren't following the same kind of path as they
Yeah.
should naturally, that's going to stick out like a sore thumb.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that D Amazing, I remember him always talking about, is study anatomy. And that's where the poses kind of come in. And then, you know,
when
following, go ahead.
When you said figure yoga, and a pose that immediately comes to mind, and it's just like one that you may want to be, I just start cracking up. It's playing with myself's icon.
Oh,
His photography.
he's backing that ass up.
Like if there's one pose you want to be, you want to challenge yourself with copying, I'm pretty sure he did it first, and then he posed Spider-Man like that. And I think he did a poll. And if you guys aren't, definitely check out Adam playing with myself on IG. He posted the new final swing Spidey, and he's like, hey, should this one replace my previous Spidey? And it's the same pose with, he's just backing that ass up. So the minute you mentioned figure yoga, like, I don't know why, but Adam popped into my head. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, that's a pretty good pose.
It is a good pose. And yeah, he's trying to update it now. So give Adam some feedback if you still see the story by the time this goes up.
Tell him, hey, we need to see that pose in action. Like, we need you to be in that pose.
Can you do a real life version and then compare it against the figure?
Yeah, there you go.
And then I'll be like, all right, yeah, this pose works.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah, but you can try those in any kind of pose, really. You know, like if you want to try the pose yourself, that's a way to do some yoga, do some stretch. Can I hit that pose? You know, like I can, or like this figure can, or can I not? And that's a way that you can work on your stretchability, you know, your flexibility.
You're like, oh, I complain about double jointed elbows, and I can't even reach. I can't even
squeeze all the way back. Yeah, exactly. You know, there's other things that you can do. These are getting a little goofy, but these are just some ideas that we had. Toy box lunges, so like as a leg workout. Get your heavy toy boxes, hold them above your head, and then do some lunges. You know,
nice.
Get your legs worked out that way.
Then you definitely know I gotta get these bins lighter. I have too much in the bins.
Exactly. Or if you're moving your collection around as you're taking your steps, just do some lunges or something like that. Yeah. So we're making this all figure related, so you can do it while you're trying to do other things, but you're just sort of working in these workouts along the way.
Working out. Yeah,
because the toy boxes get heavy. It's good extra weight to use for like a lunge or something. And then to Prime's point, it might inspire you like, hey, this thing is really too heavy and I don't want to keep picking it up. So maybe I should take some stuff out of it. There's another thing, you know, when you think about action figures, what's maybe one of the most common things about an action figure? Prime, I'm putting you on the spot. I didn't talk about this before.
What's the most common thing?
Yeah, what would you say was one of the most common things in action figures? And it's probably more obvious than you expect.
The articulation.
Okay, that's not a bad guess. But what I was gonna say is that they're always they're always like beefed. You know, they've got big arms, big chest. Yeah. I mean, if you look at a Marvel Legends, they're always got abs. You know, the biceps are showing, all that kind of stuff. And that's, you know, some kind of form of strength training, right? Like you want to do some kind of strength training to get your muscles bigger, get your biceps bigger, or your chest or your abs or something. So you could do like, you know, I'm thinking of how can you use dumbbells to mimic actions related to toy collecting. So maybe shoulder presses to reach high shelves, right? So you're reaching a high shelf, you can grab a shoulder press.
I think I saw Sonny. He was like curling Galactus, and then one he had the Sentinel, the HasLab.
There you go.
I think it was curling him. I think it was Sonny. He had him. I was like, all right, because you know he was carrying, I think, baby Galactus everywhere he went. So you can use a Galactus, just curl him and bench press him.
There you go. Use those HasLabs. Those things are pretty hefty.
Put them on your back and just there you go.
Yeah. Or like squats as you're picking up and organizing items. You know, you do some squats. Or if you're looking at those bottom shelves, you know, you do like a squat to get there, stand back up again. Nobody likes leg day, but that's a way that you can work it out.
Don't ever skip it though.
Yeah. You know, and those are just some random ideas. I just wanted to put together like a little quick, like a workout routine. Those are like routines that I'm talking about, like things that you could do every single day. And if you did them enough, it becomes a habit. And I know working out isn't always the funnest thing to think about,
Yeah.
especially if you don't feel like you're in shape, you feel like you're kind of behind, but everybody starts out somewhere. So you got to like at least just take that first step and then stick with it and then see, if you feel better, I guarantee you probably will if you start working out a bit more and focusing on your health. It'll make you feel better.
I feel like you're coming up with a really creative challenge there. Like I'm trying to think how we can incorporate this, but man, this may be pretty creative challenge. Like taking some pocket figs to the gym or outdoor, getting more creative with the shots where like you go for a hike and then you take the fig with you and like you snap shots after every X amount of whatever, if it's a 5-mile hike, 5 shots every mile.
There you go. Kind of like a fitness challenge, but collector or action figure photography
figure fitness
related.
Challenge. There you go.
Yeah.
We're switching it up this year.
3,000
figure
steps
booth
and then
to fitness figure booth.
Fitness figure booth. And like to prize for it, that's one of the things that we're trying for 2024. Different ideas for episodes. We've been doing this a long time. It's hard for us sometimes to figure out what's something new that we haven't talked about yet. And this is one of those things, is staying in shape, both with your mind and your body. So we talked about the body a lot. Now let's like talk about the mind, maybe not as in depth, but a toy collector's mental health checkup. I think that's something you should maybe do at the very least, like once a week. Like, hey, how am I feeling on a mental basis?
Yeah.
Do I feel sad? Do I feel happy? Am I stressed about something? Is there something I've been holding off from doing that I need to address? That mental health like starts to build up if you don't deal with it. And it can start causing some major issues if you leave it unchecked. So there's a lot of health challenges out there. We've talked about this before. Mental health is extremely important, and it's not something that you should put to the side. And if you are, you really need to be aware of it. Maybe try to get some resources for support, talk to somebody, find a friend in the community that you feel comfortable with, and just tell them like, hey, I'm not really feeling that great. You mind talking to me for a little while? That kind of thing. Or finding groups that can help you. Like, now I'm not talking about like Alcoholics Anonymous. I'm talking about like figure groups. Like we've talked about socializing with other people in the community that maybe are local to you. Just finding somebody else that you can relate to about not just figures, but just life in general, and maybe combine the two. Because having somebody else just to talk to sometimes can really be helpful. You can share ideas, talk about what's going on in your life. You have somebody to kind of just vent with. So that mental health is like really important.
It's crucial.
It really is crucial. And it's something you got to be honest with yourself about.
Yeah. And I think that's the hardest part. It's just really being honest with yourself and being okay with, you know what, I'm not doing too good right now. And knowing that it's a bad moment and not necessarily a bad life. So you can tell yourself like, hey, I'm going to allow myself to be in this moment for like 5 seconds or 5 minutes and then try to snap out of it or distract myself or document it and write it down. Like, okay, what was it that made me feel this way? Why am I feeling so shitty? Is it a situation? Is it my scenario? Is it personal? Is it, my work or is it my environment? There's so many things that really, I think we are not aware that triggers us. And then realizing that, hey, am I going through mental stuff, whether it's depression or anxiety? I think most of us suffer from some type of anxiety, whether it's work or both work and personal life. And we have our own various triggers. It could be like just traffic, or it could be you missed out on a pre-order, or you went to like 5 Targets and you can't find that figure. Like that's causing you anxiety. And just kind of taking a step back, like, okay, if this is giving me anxiety, then it's probably not the healthiest way I'm going about it. So maybe I should just take a step back and just breathe. And it's okay. I missed out on it. Like at the end of the day, it's just a figure. Like it's not an ends all to everything. And really, hopefully that's like a aha moment for yourself to kind of reflect on, okay, well, if that triggered you so much to give you that much anxiety, like is it really bringing you that much joy? And I think we've all like, I've seen several channels where they do like the burnout channel. Almost every channel has done like, oh, I'm burnt out, or I'm selling on my figures, or I'm taking a pause. Like we all go through this. We're all human beings. We all go through a moment where we just need a pause from life, whether it's social media or just collecting or just from work, fill in the blank, and we need a break from that, so I think when
For
you
sure.
realize that, when you're like, hey, I need a break from this, then really reflect on, okay, like what is it that I'm doing that is unhealthy about it? Am I buying too much? Am I trying to keep up? Am I doing more than I can? Because I think a lot of us, we really fail to see that sometimes we are self-sabotaging ourselves. So it's really, again, recognizing that moment. It's like, hey, I'm weak in this moment where I feel like shit. Okay, well, why do I feel like shit? Well, because I spent half the day going to like 80 fucking Rosses. Okay, well, why did I do that? Just so I can post like my shitty haul of like $10 and I spent $60. It's like you once you start looking at it, you're like, oh yeah, that was like, why did I do all that? You could have done something completely else. And I think until we reflect and kind of like write it all down and look back at it and reflect on that and just say, you know what, that was like a dumb move, and being okay with it, like just shaking it up. Okay, I'm gonna take the L. That was dumb. I'm gonna try not to do that again, because we fall into those pitfalls. Those are those bad habits. But the minute we start to recognize those bad habits and then take the corrective action to step in the right direction, then we can start building healthy habits. And then knowing, hey, you know what? The hype is all with this one figure. Like all this MCU stuff with the Spider-Mans and the Green Goblin. Like I was almost like, oh my God, I need to get, but I was like, I don't collect MCU stuff. They're fantastic figures. I can just admire them from afar. I don't need to rush to pre-order them at Target. I'm not going to spend that much. Like to me, there's no value in it. I need to just seek what brings me true value and what I really enjoy. At the end of the day, it's just me. It does, like, nobody else matters. So with taking those appropriate steps, I'm just realizing, like, mental health, it's like super, super crucial. This year has been more than challenging for myself, but I think it's taking the right steps every day, knowing, like, just doing a check-in with yourself, like, hey, how did I wake up today? Okay, I'm good. And when you are aware of your triggers, you're like, okay, why did that trigger me like that? That's like, what is it that I'm feeling? Just kind of like checking your feelings and being okay with that, like giving yourself the permission to be in that space for that moment and just saying, hey, I'm really frustrated right now. Why is that? Or I'm really angry, or I'm really depressed. And okay, that's it. And I live the moment and then kind of power through or move on to the next phase, because in a blink of an eye, like, it's gonna be the past, and it is what it is, and you can't change it. So it's crazy. It's crazy how mental health can creep up on you, and then next thing you know, you're like in a pile of plastic, and it's all nothing but Ross finds, and you're like, I can't return none of this shit. Nobody wants to buy or trade me something for all my Outbacks.
Because they know I got them for $6. But I mean, Prime hit so many great points with that. And I think one of the most important ones, if you don't do anything about it, it's never going to change.
Right.
So if you are struggling with some kind of mental health, don't just think that all of a sudden it's magically going to get better, because it probably won't, unless you decide you can figure out what it is that makes you unhappy, what it is that's causing you stress, what is it that's causing you depression. And some things are easier to fix than others. I get that. I'm not saying that, hey, you can just quickly change it. You might not be able to. But at least if you're mindful of it, you can try to do things that at least are less triggering or less stress-inducing, or bring you some kind of happiness. A lot of things that Prime said really resonated with me, like slowing down and appreciating your collection. Appreciate the new additions to your collection. Slow down the process of acquiring. Open each item, look at it, pose it. Do you like it? Do you not like it? If you don't like it, maybe create a pile of stuff. Okay, I've opened it and don't really care for it. Maybe I'll try to resell that. Notice the details, the textures, the colors. Like we acquire, and I get it and I throw it on the shelf and I never look at it again. And there's a way that you can slow that down if you're not so concerned, to Prime's point, about being the first guy to post, hey, I got all these Ross hauls, or I'm the first guy to get this, or I'm the first guy to get this at this deal. Because at the end of the day, nobody's going to remember that stuff. Nobody's going to remember 10 years from now that Prime was the first one to get, 10 Ross Crocs or something. Nobody's going to care, because Prime's going to be stuck with that.
Two big things with that is, like, nobody's going to care, because as sad as it is, like, at the end of the day, everything's irrelevant. Like, it's really not going to matter as much when it comes to certain things. It's really not going to matter. So you have to be in the moment for yourself. And then the other thing was, like, really being mindful and telling yourself, okay, this is what I'm going through. But also remind yourself, you're not the only one. Like there's a lot of times where I felt like I was alone, but here I'm a witness to tell you, like there are so many other people that are going through the same type of crap that you probably are. Just have that faith to reach out to someone that you feel you can trust or is in your circle of trust, and just like take that leap of faith of like telling them, hey, you know what, I'm not doing okay, or right now I'm feeling like this. It's having that faith in yourself to be able to be vulnerable for that quick second and seeking that help, because a lot of times I know you may feel like you're alone, but I guarantee you there's so many other people that be like, hey, you know what, I was in your shoes too. I went through the same type of crap. Like it was really eye-opening once we had our episode. So many people reached out and they still continue to check up on me, and we have some really great conversations where it's just like about day-to-day stuff. And sometimes people reach out to me and they're like, hey, today I'm feeling like crap. And I'm like, all right, tell me like what happened, what's going on, or what is it that I can do to help. It's again, the experience has been really eye-opening, and not taking anything or any. Yeah, at the end of the day, we each have our own, we're all in our own lane. So we always feel, I feel like a lot of times we feel like it's just us. There's nobody else that feels like this.
Yeah, that's true. But to Brian's point, there are so many people out there in the toy community, and you can create some kind of supportive environment with people that you are friends with, or you've talked to frequently, or maybe that you've had a good relationship in the past, things like that. It's really important to have that supportive community of fellow collectors. And there's so many people out there that you can talk to that are probably either shy or have some kind of issue that they don't want to deal with, and not everybody's going to be receptive, and you can't be mad at people for not wanting to take the time to help because they're always dealing with their own stuff. But if you have a group of people that you can talk to, and maybe somebody's available for you at sometimes, that's super important. We have so many people in this community, and sometimes we don't really talk to each other because we're so focused on what we're doing. But to Brian's point, there's so many people going through the same thing. We just don't really realize it sometimes. Maybe you just take a moment to say, hey, are you doing okay? I've seen that you've been posting less, or, hey, I'm not doing so great. Do you mind talking for a second? That kind of stuff can really make a big difference. So that in conjunction with what we're talking about, slowing down and appreciating, being conscious of what you're collecting, practice mindful decision making. Like, why do I want this figure? Do I want it for a good reason? Do I want it because he's on sale? Does it align with your collecting goals and values? And if it doesn't, maybe debate on whether or not you want to get it. Digital detox, I think, is really important too. Like stepping away from the digital nature of social media and just focusing on, whether it's your collection or not, but do things that bring you happiness, whether it's playing a game or going on a vacation or taking a hike outside or working out, right?
There you go.
Put away the electronic devices, at least for like an hour. Challenge yourself and see if you can do it. You'd be surprised how it's actually harder than you think. But if you can do it and you can make it a consistent, habit, like maybe you have dinner with your family and one of the rules is put the phones away for dinner, just for dinner, so you guys can have some time together. It sounds corny, but it really does make a difference because we get so focused on the social media part and, looking at our phones and making sure everybody knows that I've got the latest figures and I'm not paying attention to what's going on in front of me, which is the light that's passing me by. And you only live once, YOLO. So you got to make the best of it. Take breaks away. Be mindful about how you engaging with others. Try to be respectful of other people. You don't know what other people are going through. I feel like we see a lot of people being assholes to each other in the toy community because they're assuming certain things, or they don't like their viewpoints, or they just disagree with their thoughts on a figure. But this is a toy community. We're all just talking about toys. So the fact that people out there take it so personally just really surprises me. Just remember what it's about. It's about toys.
Yep.
But yeah, and that's a topic that we could probably talk about for quite some time. But those are kind of the things that are top of mind that I think me and Prime wanted to discuss. And then also, going into 2024, trying to set a goal from yourself, just something small. You don't have to make a big goal, but I'm going to walk 30 minutes a day or whatever it is. I'm going to be able to do bicep curls with 50 pounds by the end of the year or something like that.
Wow.
You just make it smaller. Yeah, smaller things. I mean, that's a big one. 50-pound bicep curls, a lot. But I'm just giving you examples of just goals that you can set that don't disappoint you, that are attainable. You know, you don't want to set a goal that you don't think you're going to hit. You want to set a goal that's like, okay, that's attainable. I can do that just with a little bit of effort. But yeah, so let us know you guys' thoughts as you're hitting the like button for this episode, because please make sure always to do that. That's something that really goes a long way for me and Prime, shows your appreciation for the podcast. So please make sure you hit that like button and then leave a comment below. What are some of your resolutions for 2024 with regards to staying healthy or keeping your collection in shape? What are some things that we said that you like? What are some things we said that you don't like? You know, let us know what you guys think. We'd love to hear from you. We say it all the time. And there are people that do comment, but I'd love to see more comments, more talk from you guys. So let us know what you think. Be careful.
78's going to go off on a rampage.
I should say,
everyone but 78.
Leave a comment except for 78. And if you guys are trying to read comments and they're too long, blame 78. And if you're at the store and you're like, hey, I don't need to get all 3 figures right now. I'll get 2 of them. Hide the rest, right?
Hide them
figs. That's a way you can space it out. Make it a bit easier to digest.
I think the funniest one so far is someone hit a fig like in the meat produce and then slapped a piece of beef on top of it and like tagged this one. I was cracking up. I was like, oh my God, this is.
I think that was Ryan, actually.
This is figures in the beef produce.
Yeah, I don't know if I would touch that figure after you put it there, but you know, that's the idea. Hide them figs and keep sharing that stuff. You know, if you guys are hiding a figure, just share. We'd love to see it. Me and Prime love that stuff.
Yeah.
Cool. Oh, as well, obviously, if you're not subscribed, please make sure you subscribe to the Figure Booth. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss when we go live. And spread the word. If you know somebody that's not following us, ask them what it is that they want to accomplish in their lives. And one of them is listening to our podcast.
That's right.
All right. We're going to talk about some of the usual topics now, our weekly or bi-weekly stuff. Pre-orders. Yeah. I feel like it's been a bit light since the holidays. What do you think, Prime? I feel like there is a lot to talk about. There's also not.
Yeah, they give, you know, I think some companies like, all right, we're gonna let you enjoy this 1 week of opening your gifts. We get ready for new pre-orders.
Right.
Because Mezco dropped that pre-order on the 27th.
Yeah, good call.
2 days after Christmas.
Right. Like, okay, Christmas is over. Now time to start spending again. And they, I feel like they went with a banger here. One that was pretty popular. At least it seemed that way because this pre-order sold out, I want to say in like 2 hours.
Yeah, I think so.
Which is pretty fast for a Mezco nowadays. It didn't used to be the case. You know, Mezcos used to always sell like that. But to see a Mezco nowadays sell out in 2 hours, I was like, wow, there's either a small number or this is a very popular character. And it's probably a combination of the two.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, the White Ranger dropped. Also, you know, I was also saying with JDFFN, Jason David Frank passing away this year, there's probably some of the hype there. And I don't mean to be morbid, but people do like to collect things of people that have passed away. Right. Because it's harder to find as time goes on. But that could be some of it. I don't really know. I'm just assuming. But I do think this White Ranger looks pretty good. Did you pick it up, Prime?
I didn't.
I don't think you're really a Ranger fan.
No, I am.
You are? Okay.
Yeah, I'm a Ranger fan, but I just didn't because I don't have the Green Ranger. Yeah, I just kind of passed on this. I was like, there's no way I can pick up this Ranger without having the Green Ranger. I didn't pre-order the rest of the Rangers.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too. Like if you missed out on Green Ranger, you're already missing a part of the team.
Yeah.
Green Ranger has gone up in value. I think he's a bit harder to find now. So that can be a little discouraging. White Ranger's cool. but you can't get to White Ranger without having green first.
Exactly. Like that's just that's a gap in the collection that is already driving me. I saw him and I'm like, damn, I should have picked the. That's the first thing I thought about was like, damn, I should have got the Green Ranger. So then I could have gotten this, and then it would have made sense. So it was an automatic like pass for me, even though he looked really good.
Yeah, I was kind of the same way. I do like Power Rangers. I don't have a whole lot of Power Ranger stuff, if anything at all. But I was definitely tempted. But to Prime's point, I don't really have Green Ranger. I haven't pre-ordered the set. So this is going to be really out of place in my collection. And as we were talking about just a second ago, I'm trying to be more conscious about what I'm collecting. Do I have a place for it long term? Or is it just something that I'm seeing that I'm like, oh, it's going to be valuable. It's going to be sought after.
Yeah.
The cool thing is that we're getting a lot of like previews into how that Power Ranger set's going to be with these Power Ranger figures. So I think at some point this year, we're going to see the Power Rangers released, but I think they're sprinkling out, this Green Ranger, White Ranger as sort of a tease to maybe build up hype. Maybe that set's just a pain in the ass to produce. There's a lot of accessories. There's at least 40 hands in there, at least, 20 head sculpts, that kind of thing. So it's probably taking the production factories quite a bit to produce that set.
You think the putties are on the way?
Cool. Putties have to be a must, right?
Right? I keep seeing them.
They're showing them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of showing them off here. So I feel like a putty is
a
sort
two-pack?
of necessary. A two-pack would make a lot of sense.
Yeah. Or like how they how they did the Captain Neo's crew.
I was just going to say that. Yeah.
2 bodies and like 60 heads. Like that makes sense.
Yeah. Or maybe they do like a villain or 2 villains and 2 putties. That would be cool.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
Like another 4 set. But I mean, talk about a long pre-order. If we haven't seen anything now, that's not going to be coming out quite some time.
But yeah, that'd be cool.
I think Mezco putties just makes a lot of sense because the putties in the show were wearing those,
look at
silver...
that one in the background. You can kind of see his face.
That
looks like it's already.
It does.
That's coming. That's creeping. He's got.
It kind of looks like it's already produced in a way, or at least they have a prototype because you can tell that's fabric. And the putties always had that silver unitar that they would wear.
That might be a good one to pick up.
Seems like a no-brainer for Mezco to do it. I don't know if I really like this head sculpt so much.
No, I'm not too crazy about it.
It's not very accurate in my opinion.
Yeah.
But maybe it is for you. But yeah, he gets the only 2 head portraits. I guess that makes sense. I mean, what are you supposed to do with a guy in a helmet? You really can't do a whole lot. This kind of threw me off, but this must be his hair hanging down in the back. I was like, what is going on with his neck?
Yeah.
A lot of hands. You get 2 different Saba swords. I think one of them has a hinged jaw on the Saba.
That's cool.
A lot of effects. The Sword of Light with all the Rangers hitting it with their effects. $95. Like I said, this sold out pretty quick.
Yeah.
Waitlist is still up though, and there's a good chance it's going to get fulfilled as this starts to go out. I think it's going to ship here sometime soon. This was in stock
before the end of year.
Yes, hopefully before the end of 2024, people are going to get these in hand. But I know that shipping's been a while. Like some people don't even have their Gotham by Gaslights yet. Prime barely got his.
Yeah, I think I got mine when this went up. And that's why I was like, nope, I'm not pre-ordering. This was my last pre-order with Mezco from the site. I have other Mezcos on pre-order with other distributors, whatever. But from Mezco, this Gaslight Gotham Batman was my last. That's it. I don't have any outstanding orders with Mezco. I'm like, yes.
That's so funny. It's the same with me. Gaslight was my last fulfillment. Yeah.
Done with y'all.
Yeah, which I'm like, I got $75 in points. I'm gonna have to buy something at some point, but I only have 11. Oh, $11.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you do the thing where you check to see if they your points expire?
I did.
Okay.
And they did give me credit for those 3 purchases.
Nice. Yeah, I ended up getting like $45 in points back.
Oh,
which was
nice.
great.
But and then I realized I did end up using, because at first I was like, I've never used my points, but I ended up getting three figures. Yeah, three, if not maybe four, but three figures, and I think I only paid for shipping, if not less. Like I think it was only the shipping. It was Robin, the Crow, and then Leatherface. I only paid
Nice.
$18 for the shipping. And I think one of them
Can't
came
beat
out to
that.
even less. It was crazy. So I definitely used my points. So
I do love that point system because sometimes you get one or multiple figures for free. It's pretty sweet, but you do have to buy a lot in order to get that.
I was glad that for those three, I didn't have to wait too long. Like Robin had just, he went up last year, and I ended up getting my points worth from him.
Yeah. Definitely use those points, people, because they expire. This one kind of really surprised me, but Batman is doing a 5 points. Mezco's doing a 5 points Batman the Animated Series set. And they're, obviously giving some of the 4 main characters. So you've got Batman here, and this looks like the combat style Batman from the Kenner days.
Yeah.
You've got Robin, Joker, Catwoman, and they're even doing a animated Batmobile, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I'm not a big 5 points guy, but I am very tempted with this set.
To get that set. Yeah. 125, that's not bad.
Not bad, especially when it comes to the Batmobile. That's pretty sweet. I just don't know if, is this going to sit in the box for me, or am I actually going to display this thing?
You might be able to display because it's small enough.
That's true. It is smaller. It's not a full 1/12. That's a good point. And I really like how the Batmobile has different features, like the cockpit with lights, the fire coming out the back, the wheel slashers coming out the sides, the canopy kind of rolls forward and back. Just little details like that, and that is pretty cool. And again, Mezco's doing like another vehicle reveal, and I think that's like the third or fourth one we've seen so far from them for this upcoming year. It's definitely a cool set. You get some different accessories for the 5 points figures, but I think it's a cool idea because, being 5 points, they can be fairly limited, but they're still giving you different accessories. Joker gets his laughing fish.
And he gets a two looks,
head.
The hat and without the hat. That's cool.
Yeah, I like that for sure. Catwoman looks great. I mean, these figures look really good. They remind me of the DC Direct Batman stuff.
Yeah.
Prime said $125 for the set, which really isn't that bad considering you're getting 4 figures plus a Batmobile. But if you're just interested in the Batmobile, they are selling it separately, which I think is a really cool change of pace for Mezco, is they're actually separating some stuff out.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah, so you can get the Batmobile just by itself if that's all you care about. And that's $45.
True.
So that's pretty cool. I'm sure there's some people listening that are probably tempted to get that. Switching gears a bit, we've got the Mafex Scarecrow from Hush. So they're going real deep with this Hush line. I think Scarecrow's he had a very small role in Hush from what I remember, or maybe he had a larger role. I can't remember Hush very well now. So maybe I should just not say anything at all.
He either had a small role or he had a large role.
One of the two. In Hush. Yeah, we're covering all the bases here.
It's either small or large.
As far as accessories, it looks like he's maybe only coming with an unmasked head. I don't see any other accessories here.
So I don't know. I don't remember. I don't recall like a whole lot from Hush. Is that the way he looked in Hush? Because all I see is Beavis from Beavis and Butthead. Like that is a horrible head sculpt. Man,
it's really bad.
That's going straight into the trash.
Well, I couldn't even remember how big of a role he had in the movie. I'm pretty sure he had a small role in the comic, but I have no idea if he's unmasked or not. I have no idea. I'm sure he does because they're doing it. But yeah, that is a really ugly face sculpt. Really ugly. And he does come with 2 different expressions, but it's kind of hard to see that his mouth is open behind these huge pieces of mask.
I can see his teeth and like his tongue. His eye expression's a little bit different. The masked head sculpts look good. It's just that that last head sculpt's like, ugh. Never gonna be
Yeah,
using
it's
that.
pretty ugly.
Yeah, that's a cool Scarecrow though. We don't like, man. Can you imagine if Mezco did a Scarecrow?
Oh, I know.
Come on, Mezco, Scarecrow.
Scarecrow, Riddler, like these are right up their alley. Like
Come on,
fully
Riddler,
fabric
Scarecrow.
characters. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just weird they haven't done it yet. But it also makes me wonder, like, why the hell do we don't have a Hush Robin yet?
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like that would have been a first choice.
They've
And he was
gone
a pretty
through all
big
the other characters.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Are you
literally have
sure?
every other character.
Are you sure Robin plays a major role?
Yes, I am sure about that. Nightwing's also a big role in it, but Robin is in it as well.
Oh man.
Ivy recently released.
Yeah.
She's been looking pretty good from what I've seen from people's posts.
Yeah, just lackluster in accessories, like $80
It
for
is.
like a smirk and a briefcase.
That's true. Yeah, the lackluster accessories are not a great change of pace because I feel like Mofex has been better on accessories in the past.
Yeah, they could have done way more with her.
They could have done a lot more. And some of these you only get with certain characters, like what is on Superman only comes with him directly.
Yeah.
So it just doesn't even come with.
And most people missed out on Soups the first time. So like, they should have given her more Ivies or some plants or like her pet.
Yeah.
That, they could have, I don't know, they could have done so much more. Because even that briefcase is kind of like lackluster.
The briefcase just, it seems like just a cheap throw-in to me. And it's not even very well done.
No, it's not.
It just looks really cheap.
I can get better cash from 78. Like, let's blame 78.
Yeah, exactly. For $20, right? You
Yeah.
can blame 78 for the lack of detail in this Mofex.
And then go pick up his cash accessories, but then blame him for it. Yeah.
If he still, I don't know if he still has any. Does he still have any left? I'm not sure.
He may not, or he may not have any. He may have some, or he may not have any on hand. So
we're super informative today. So you can either hit him up and get one, or you can hit him up and be disappointed. It could go both ways. So good luck to you out there.
That's going to be our thing 2024. This may be in stock, or maybe sold out. Who knows?
Yeah. The year of maybe.
The messengers. Oh, man.
Mofex Black Panther version 1.5. This isn't a new figure, but a reissue. No. What is new is the throne that he comes with.
Yeah, I was about to say, well, he didn't come with the throne before.
Yeah.
Throne looks cool.
I can't remember what the likeness was on the Bozeman Mofex before, but I feel like this one looks really good.
This one looks
really good. I don't know if the first one was this accurate, but the paint apps here, everything looks great.
Yeah.
I'm not a big MCU guy, to Prime's earlier point, but if I was going to get a MCU Black Panther, this would definitely be the one. He looks really good. And if you missed him,
and with the tone, that's a major plus.
Of getting him again. Yeah, it looks like they're charging about a 20 extra markup for the throne, but that's a pretty cheap throne when you think about it. Not too bad. And it just goes to show you as well, like if you miss out on Mofex figures, they're always going to reissue them. So don't pay aftermarket prices. Marvel Select Annihilus. Maybe we'll end with this one. What do you think?
Yeah.
I'm not a big Annihilus fan. I don't know much about him.
I was super stoked. I have the Build-A-Figure from the Marvel Legends. And I don't know, now that I look at this guy more, I'm like, I'm not as crazy about it compared to the Build-A-Figure that I don't know. He's a cool Fantastic Four villain. That's where I recognize him from. But who knows? Once in hand, like some of these select figures really blow you away because they're a little bit larger than life for some of these characters. Yeah, I'm on the fence. I when they first announced him and I saw some images of him, I was like, yep, that's gonna be a must because I've been really wanting a brand new one or an updated version. The Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure from Toy Biz, it's a great figure, but I was like, we need like something updated. I don't know. This again, it looked really good, but the more I stare at the pictures, there's something about it that I'm not too crazy about. I don't know if it's the waist. He looks too like he might be a little bit too stiff. I'm not seeing a thigh swivel or anything. I don't know. He just it looks like they went kind of backwards with some of the articulation. I have some of their I have the Apocalypse that they did, which is really good, and then oh my god, Titanium Man, and Titanium Man was like phenomenal. I was like, yes, they're going in the right direction. But with this, I feel like they're going back. And some of the select figures, they're really limited. They're just like statues.
Yeah, it's I don't have many selects myself, but I will agree that his body looks a little weird. He looks really top heavy here.
Yeah, I think that might be it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
very broad shoulders, big torso,
and again,
then
I
he's
have
got
to build
this
a
tiny
figure
little
from.
ab.
Yeah, yeah. The build figure I think will hold me for now, unless like Legends.
Yeah.
Because usually sometimes Select and Legends are like right behind each other. They'll unveil a new Apocalypse, and then, Select will unveil a new Apocalypse. That's what happened with the Apocalypse. They did the retro Apocalypse, and then selected this one. They did this Archangel that selected, and then Marvel Legends doing Angel. So hopefully we get a deluxe version of Annihilus, and that would be really, really awesome.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the times what you do see is when one company releases a character, you usually see other companies releasing the same character.
Yeah.
So maybe Hasbro will start showing off the Annihilus that they've been working on, if that's the case.
Right. It could be a build. It could build a figure for 2024.
Yeah, there you go. All right. There's a lot of other pre-orders out there, but just as for sake of time, we'll move on. Plastic Confessions. What do you have for this week?
This last week, aside from getting my Gaslight that finally came in,
Nice.
my last purchase of 2023, which was like at the clutch, and they got delivered like I think the very next day, was the Toddy Mac 89 Batmobile. Killer price. It was like 20% off with like Prime coupon that you add on there on the cart. So I ended up getting it for like 60 shipped. And they literally shipped it overnight. It was crazy. It showed up the next day and I was like blown away. And I totally forgot it came with the fig because it was like that 2-pack. So I got the updated version. It's all matte. The Keaton figure, he's decent. But man, the Batmobile, like that was a good way to end the year.
Yeah, that's a great price for a vehicle in 1/12 scale plus a figure. I mean, you can't for $60. I mean, you've got HasLabs that are like $200, $350 for a vehicle and a figure. I get there may be a bit more detail, but you can't beat $60.
Yeah, no, you can't.
I think Amazon still has that deal going on. I don't know if they're still going to have it on by the time we post this episode.
Yeah, so it may or may not be.
If you guys didn't get it, you probably want to get it sooner rather than later. Again, the year of maybe. It could be there. It may not be there.
Who knows?
There's information somewhere.
Yeah,
in there.
Look it up. Google it.
Yeah. What do you think about Gotham by Gaslight? What if he had made your top 5?
You know what? Yeah, he would have. He would have made my top 5 because this guy's just. Now I grabbed him, and right out of the box, just been messing with them. I love his cape, his fabric cape, and I ended up getting my JLA set, the Jack Snyder one, which their capes really stunk. Like I hated their capes. The Batman cape feels super cheap, and the Superman cape feels super cheap. So I wish they would have gone with the more high. I don't know. I feel like their capes in the past have been a little bit better. So that just got me to thinking like a Gaslight Batman, but in the dark and gray, the black and gray colors.
Yeah,
because I've seen the pre-order for the 1/6 scale, and I'm like, I just don't want to wait 2 years for a black and gray scale. But that would be
such
really
a unique
cool
style for Batman.
Yeah.
I'd be really surprised if they don't try to release another version of him at some point.
I'm like, that's money in the bag. Most of us suckers that love Batman, if you bought this version, you definitely would buy a black and gray version. And the wings that like everything that he came with, that just blew me apart. Like I was like, wow. I put on the wings, the fabric. I mean, they look phenomenal. I haven't thrown them on him, but everything that he came with, and it excited me because I totally forgot I had gotten the Vigilante set that I bought, and they sent out like a year ago. So I have that. So that it's full circle with it goes perfect with them.
Yeah.
So now
I've got it too, and I was so happy to realize. Yeah. Like holy crap! I've got the Victoria Vigilante set. I can't believe
hopefully they do other figures, or give them another villain. Like I think a Riddler in this era would be awesome too.
Yeah, a Riddler. Yeah, it's a crime that we don't have a Mezco Riddler by this point.
Yeah,
but yeah, the cloth goods, the cape, he's just hitting on all cylinders. And to your point, it's kind of disappointing when you get one set in and then another set, and they don't feel like the same quality, but it's from the same company.
Yeah. And they need to
I
stop
feel
with
like
the
that
teeth.
JL set was a bit disappointing.
The teeth, like the expression where they're just showing the teeth. I'm like, either go full like
It's like a
like full. He's just like her, like just like I don't. It's baby
it's
Gerber
weird.
face needs to stop
It's
and just like
it's
those
like what is
three,
he?
because the Flash, right? It's a Flash. All three of them have it, right? Flash, Soups,
Yeah,
and Bat.
Flash
I'm like,
Soups. I don't know if Flash has a grinning head.
yeah,
He may,
he has
he
a
may
baby
not.
because he comes with two head skulls. But I think when it was a baby Gerber head, it's like,
Yeah.
I'm like, why? Why just give me like the teeth? Don't. Nobody likes teeth. All right, just like come on, show the like either give us a yelling face or a complete different expression. Like go for the full expression. So there's so
Yeah.
many customizers out there with great expressions on head sculpts that do it justice. With
Yeah,
the
excuse
baby
the
Gerber
body that
face,
this
like,
is on, but don't give us one of these head sculpts.
yeah,
You know,
look at
you
that.
can barely see
That's
it.
bad.
Yeah, it looks weird. But
And
here's
then the
Batman next to it.
Batfleck face was just really soft. Like I wasn't a fan of I like the cowl. It looked really good, but just the face, the mouth itself, it looked really soft.
Yeah,
It looked
I
a little
agree.
weird.
Yeah,
Henry
not
Cavill
the
though, he came out
greatest
really
quality.
good. He looked like he
He
spent a little
did.
too much in the tanning bed, but he looked way
Yeah,
better
he's a
than the
little too tan.
previous version.
I
Hey,
really
he's
like
been
his
dead.
suit though, and I like
Yeah.
his cape a bit more.
Oh, okay.
I don't really like his feet though. His feet look a little
His
funky.
feet are the worst. I hate
Yeah.
his feet. He looks like he's
Yeah, I don't
wearing
like
like
his
clown
feet.
shoes.
Yeah, it's just like why?
They
That
should have
looks
gave him like
goofy.
I'm like, you guys have regular boots. I have the classic Soups. Those boots
Yeah,
would have been
just
fine.
do something other than that. But even like the Reeves boots. Oh,
Oh man!
wow.
I was like, they all fell.
Oh,
And
all right.
one fell, and then like they all fell. They were like, "Fuck it."
Yeah, it's because we
The
got
four of us,
Darkseid back here
one
that
for all and all for
took
one.
them all out.
Oh,
Yeah.
well,
Well, that's
there
just
you
gonna
go.
stay there for
Darkseid
now.
went.
We'll move that here soon. Oh wow! I think Joker lost an
Oh.
arm. We got an arm sitting here now.
Oh my goodness!
That was a whole just. Yeah. Okay. I'm not even gonna touch it.
You're welcome, everybody.
I'm taking a token. I did not get anything this week, so I've got a token. As far as dirty tricks, at this point, I may or may not have said these before. I don't know anymore, people. Don't expect me to keep track of every single tip that I've given. But this week is focus and sharpness. Make sure your main subject is in focus, or at least what you're trying to illustrate is in focus. I've seen a couple of shots recently, and I'm not going to name names, obviously, but the figures aren't 100% in focus, and it kind of throws me off a bit. I'm like, is this the intended
we're too quick to press
subject?
the shoot button.
Yeah, we're too quick. Like, I got what I want. I don't want to deal with this
Boom.
anymore. Let me just take the photo and post it, and I'm done. But then I guarantee you're going to look at that, and you're like, darn it, I wish I would have taken just a bit more time to make sure that everything was in focus. Another thing is pay attention to the details. One thing I've noticed, again, recently is figures that look dusty. They have dust on their shoulders or on their chest, or you can see dust sitting on their head.
Yeah.
You know, just give your figure a quick once over before you put it through, in front of the camera. Does he have dust on his head? Should I give him a quick, brush off or something? Because that dust sticks out more than you think it does. And it becomes very distracting. Like, oh my God, that figure looks dirty.
Hey, full circle. They go
Like all
show
these
you
figures.
you didn't spend time with your collection,
Yeah, exactly. He's literally been sitting on your figure or on your shelf, and you just took him off and took a shot, and you didn't even look at it was clean.
Yeah.
Don't do that because it looks bad. So that's my tip for the week.
Good
Sharp. Make sure your figures are in focus, and make sure that they're clean, or at least dusted off. All right. Last but certainly not least, and I really hope I haven't done this guy before, because it seems to be
we may or may have not
now
done this guy.
But I'm sure you guys will tell me if I have. Where is the Figure Aficionado for this week? We're going to do, where's the share button? Diggs Figs. Ryan. Have we shown Ryan
Nice.
before Prime? I'm looking at Prime for indication.
Like at first, I was like, wait, and no, I don't think we have. I don't think so. We may or may have.
I don't think we have. If we have,
I don't
I'm
think we have,
sorry,
no.
everybody.
But if we haven't, you're welcome.
Yes, if we haven't, then you should go follow Ryan, and make sure that you're watching his toy photography. He's done some good shots throughout the week or throughout his time off. He did this collaboration, which is like a Hell's Kitchen collaboration. He did it with the Turtles. I thought that was a cool idea. The Spiro Toys Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. This is a beautiful shot.
Yeah.
The whole atmosphere and everything is great. Chester the Cheetah. That's this new figure. Yeah, he's doing like a superhero pose with Chester the Cheetah. Yeah. I think this is a cool idea. You got a lot of this other stuff here for the holidays. Some holiday shots. I really like this Huntress shot. A really cool action scene. The Huntress looks great in focus, and you can totally tell what's going on here. I don't know why she's punching. Yeah, I don't know why she's punching Spider-Gwen, but hey, I'm sure this is part of the collab. I need to read the caption. Right. No, I'm not trying to throw any shade, Ryan. I'm just it's something I noticed is all.
It's a crossover. It's yeah,
it's a crossover. It's great.
Who would win?
I didn't mean that in a negative way. Even though now I'm hearing myself back, I'm like, that probably sounds like an asshole thing to say. This spot figure is great, but yeah, just you're killing it, man. Doing some great work. Really appreciate it. You're a local guy, so that gives you a leg up here as well with me. But if anybody's listening and you're like, man, they already covered this guy, or I wish they would give this other guy some spotlight, then tell us, help us out, help me in Prime, give us suggestions. That's what we're looking for. You guys are a part of this community as well. And if there's somebody that you feel like needs the spotlight, we're happy to shine the spotlight on them on this episode. So please, as you're hitting the like button on this episode, make sure to leave a comment and let us know who you want to see as a figure aficionado. And to Prime's point, don't forget about the Figure Booth Tour for 2024. Yeah, I did get a reach out, a couple of people that said, hey, I want to be involved. So I've taken screenshots. I know who they are. Cool. We're probably going to start that sometime soon. I think we wanted to give it a bit more time to see if we get any more feedback from anyone. But yeah, we'll start sending that out to the first person. And then hopefully he makes it back and we have some pictures that we can share on Outback, kind of doing some backpacking around the world.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
But that is it, guys. We have reached the end of our episode. As sad as that's going to make all of you, if you are sad about the episode ending, just blame 78.
There you go. And go back and check out some of our previous episodes.
Yes, please go back and check out our previous episodes. We did a collective resolutions for 2024. What are some resolutions that you should be thinking about as you enter the new year? The budget life, your favorite topic. And then we did our top figures of 2023. Some bangers in there, so check those out.
Who knows? Check out the episode.
It's early enough.
Who cares?
Yeah. Who cares? If you don't like it, then go to somewhere else. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. Prime, I'm sure they know where to find you.
You guys can all catch me all under Prime to the First, mostly on Instagram, but I do also have a Facebook page.
And you can find me at FigureFanNate on Instagram, Facebook primarily. But yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you next time.
Peace. Till next time, guys.